So we have been playing around here a lot, yeah, and have been we have been listening. Sometimes we're still, sometimes not. Sometimes we were clearing the space. Sometimes there was some courage and authentic impulse. So we have been playing in this field, basically. But I think that's not all. I think there is more, and not only think. If we all know how to do this, yeah, it has become a competence to just do that. Like, yeah, it's we have it. Then something more is possible, and this is more of an uncharted territory. I'm trying. I was thinking like it's the same. It's only it widens and it deepens and it goes in both directions, but just ever bigger and deeper and wider. So basically, what you do in this process of outer alignment, you become aware of more and more complexity, more and more interrelatedness, and this just goes on, yeah. There's ever more complexity. And what is this line goes to ever more authenticity. Yeah? Deeper and deeper and higher, you can see it. And for the people who know Otto Scharmer, he calls this the I in me, I think. And this is more like I in you and I in it. I call this, he doesn't name that, I in we. And he calls this I in now. As at least how I understand the terms he uses. If that's of no importance to you, you can just drop it. But I think we can go further in this I in now. That we're not just this authentic self, but that we come to a level where we have our soul's calling and we basically live an authentic life that is totally unique for ourselves, and where this quality of presence is not just in a gathering or in a certain group or in a certain organization, but where you have, or where you could bring it to the living level. Yeah, this living, where you are basically living in open will. Some have said, I didn't decide it. Some of you have named it. I didn't decide it. So you have given up your little will to a bigger will. So here in observing, it's observing your soul's calling. What is the red thread that runs through your life? What does the universe wants me to do? Yeah. So this goes from this authentic self to the soul's calling. If you see your soul's calling, you either resist it, or there is this kind of grandiosity.
Of what?
Grandiosity, like, wow, I am that, yeah? I'm going to Yeah, yeah. Look at me, how important I am. Yeah? So there is this accepting, a kind of matter of fact accepting, and this is mine to do. Yeah, this, it feels like something big because it's related to this soul level, to the soul and spirit, but it's just your bit to do. Yeah. And then I noticed that people who are kind of figuring this out are, how would I say, can be still angry at the old system. Yeah? Yeah, Helen teach me that. So you kind of project things not on your partner or your colleague, but the old system. And we do it a lot on the man. Yeah? It's still happening here in this circle. This projection on the others, the far out, the system even. Yeah? So, yeah, can we then open our heart and really honor that whoever is the system, or however the system came into being, or that is just part of evolution itself. Yeah? So it's about owning the projections, on the system or whatever it is for you. And just trust the universe, basically. That has a reason of existence, yeah? That the old system is how it is, because that's how it is. It was there for some reason. So, and this is when you adjust your whole life, basically, to your soul's calling, that it kind of all gets into one flow. And again, this is not happening like first this and then that and then that and then that. So it's maybe, it's all interwoven. I haven't found any better title for this than The Group We in Now. Yeah? So it's about the collective totally present. Just not me as an individual, not even just the group space, but this potential and this soul's calling related to the collective we're in now. You know? I think there is something like a collective soul, or maybe purpose. It's like when we look back at Women Moving the Edge, after last gathering we saw it's really a being. And it's a being that's evolving. First it was very small, and then, where do I write this? So it's like it comes from source, and it's kind of very small, and then we have a gathering, and diversity comes in, and then the river becomes a little bit bigger, and then there's another gathering, and the river gets even bigger and wider and more diverse, and so it seems like to be a being that has its own soul, that we are in service of. But there is again this holding of the not knowing. That is related more to this collective soul. like, we don't know when is the next Women Moving the Edge gathering. We never knew until somehow it becomes clear. Somebody says, I want one, or I feel the urge to call one here or there, or, yeah. So it's a lot of listening, deep, deep listening. It's a lot about allow the emergence and not try to fix it. And what I want to say here, because it's also about some heart level, and I'm still trying to figure out what's the difference between me and you and the pain we share. Because there is also a individual pain that can be seen as an example of collective pain. Yeah? Which is not just my pain, and there is a lot of collective feminine pain. There's a lot of individual stories we have which are examples of that more archetypal collective pain. And this collective pain, there's also a holding of that, because again, we cannot, even if we can say, yeah, it's the masculine and the man and da. On this level, we cannot blame it on the man or the system or patriarchy or whatever. How can we hold this archetypal pain, maybe? Hold it together. Hold it in the collective. I think we then come what we call the collective sourcing. And this an authentic collective, and I'm not sure about the words yet, because it's this what we call the circle being. It's this collective being, like I explained about this Women Moving the Edge being, that has its own soul, its own purpose, and we can speak and act from it and for it, in service of it and from it. Yeah? So the collective sourcing builds on your individual capacity to be totally present, aligned, so that you can relate with your own soul and your own source. But as we can combine that, these different capacities, we can come to this collective sourcing. And it's a lot about not knowing, because I don't think it existed before on a conscious level in history, that we are conscious of ourselves, of the other, of everything, yeah, and do it. I'm not saying that, or I do think that if I listen to stories of the women in the red tent in the Indian tribes, they were sourcing for the collective where to go, where were the hunting grounds, and so on. But they didn't have all this discerning and consciousness, yeah? And as we were speaking, I think with you, about knowing and holding from this level, from the womb level, probably women have done that throughout history. But can we now apply that and use that for in a conscious way for whatever is going on now in the world. So the gatherings of Women Moving the Edge are basically to come to this, to come to a collective sourcing where we can sense, live from this circle being. And you see, it's not all filled in, because I think there is more, and I don't know yet how to really name that, but it has to do about this group we, and I think in this place or in this time or both, and we have been talking about co-creation with nature spirits. We have friends, Marie and Sarah, who always talk about listening to the land, which is kind of the same. It's also about the bigger social field we are in. We are not just a group that just exists on its own. How do we relate with whatever working spaces you are all in, and what is the role of Women Moving the Edge in all the new organizations, projects that are coming up. So that's a territory. You see there's still holes in my matrix. So I think there is something about this related with this collective ego. It has to do with right timing, right time, right place. And then this is again the group we, you could say, related to its future potential. And I think if we learn this, although I don't know what it's really all about, I think we come to what I call co-manifesting a collective potential. That we can live it, yeah? That it's a lived, integrated, it's manifest. Collective potential. And I do think there is even a wider one where we make ecosystems of circles of co-creation. Yeah, where all these circles, and you could say CHE or other kind of circles, kind of live in a bigger web. But that's kind of for another course, I think.